Cool. All right. So this one, we're going to talk about something that I found, and I kind of mentioned to mention this to you a while back, but actually you mentioned it to me.
I
Was
did?
was People's Park.
Oh, wow, okay.
People's Park in Berkeley, California. Now, real quick, little history of like, what do you know about Berkeley?
Honestly, I mean, back like in the 70s, 80s, I don't know any of that stuff. But when I was in high school, great keg parties. That's it. I mean, I went to some of the frat parties. A buddy of mine went there in 87. And then in 88, when we graduated, another buddy of mine went there and San Jose. And then another buddy went to Chico. So all them colleges right out of high school were just beer fest, beer fest, beer fest.
Damn.
Yeah, it was just a solid drinking. And this was, let's see, in the 80s, you still had Blondie's Pizza, then you had Fat Slice, and you had not Rasputin's records. You had well, I guess it was Rasputin, but there was another record store that was located right there on Durant. And
So
Telegraph.
were people still what's it called? Were people still kind of like uh fighting, not fighting, but
Like protesting and stuff.
protesting. Yeah.
Oh, there was always protests. Back then, it was a pretty big punk movement in high school. Even right after high school, when mom was pregnant with you, when we went to a concert there, it was a punk rock concert when the dude came charging after your mom. Yeah, he was moshing. He wanted to mosh with people, and he was wasted.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
people were just letting him do his thing with his buddies. And then all of a sudden, he started rushing toward mom, and mom was pregnant with you. She was probably in her 8th month. And
Wait
yeah, so it was, it's
a minute.
always been.
Why were you guys even at a punk concert if she was
Well, I was
pregnant with you?
outside. Well, same reason why she was running 3 flights of stairs to give birth to you, just to get out and exercise. She wasn't she wasn't very bedridden.
That's funny.
Yeah, she wasn't bedridden. I mean, hell, she went jet skiing with your brother.
That's true. That's very true.
So,
Remember that one.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Berkeley's always been a place to protest. Do you hear that?
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, I think your brother's home now,
Oh.
Jabin. It's always been a place to protest, and that's all has to do with the 60s and 70s, the
Mhm.
flower power, and then the
Black Panther
70s
movement.
amusement. Yeah, Huey Newton, um, the Hell's Angels, Sonny Barger, all them guys.
That's
That was
right.
the whole
I
era. Yeah,
forgot.
that whole era. I mean, even though that was Oakland, but all that stuff had a big influence around that time. Black Power
Hmm.
is huge back in the 70s. In the 70s was Bruce Lee. He had his dojo back there. His
Oh, that's right.
yeah, right
He's
off of Ashby. The
Jeet
studio's still
Jeet
there.
Kune Do, right?
Yep, Jeet Kune Do. Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do.
So
Actually, that's right behind you.
yeah, right there. Yeah, right
Yep.
there. So yeah, um, Berkeley is a lot of. I mean, just People's Park is just a minute part of it. You're not even touching of all the celebrities that came out of it, all the
Mhm.
athletes that came out of Cal, all the athletes that. I mean, that's just the smart people that came out of Berkeley. All the people that were partying that are
Just
that are
big name
somebody.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of celebrities that came out of that. But as far
Well,
as People's Park itself, I've never attended anything highly recognizable. Just the one punk concert that I went to with your mom when she was pregnant with you. But I mean, you can go and drink there whenever you want,
yeah.
smoke some pot.
So with that being said,
Yeah.
with People's Park being what it is, for those who don't know, like you said, it was a huge
It's a movement.
gathering place. It's a big
Yeah.
movement place.
Yeah.
Um, Back when it was created, this is what it was what its original intentions were for.
For what?
Obviously, for gathering, for having fun.
Gathering. Yeah. Yeah.
People's park. That's why they
Yeah.
named it what it is. It is for the people, by the
Hmm.
people.
Yeah.
It is the people's park.
Right.
Technically, though, did you know that it is property of Cal State Berkeley? It is not property of the city of Berkeley.
No, but it makes sense. It's down close toward some of the fraternities and sororities.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually it's yeah, it is, and it's right across the street from the Berkeley Police Department.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about one specific incident that happened at People's Park when it was created, or excuse me, a little after it was created.
What year was it established?
The year, ironically, get this, it was created on April 20th, 420, 1969.
Really? It was
1969.
okay. So what was it before then? They automatically built that park just for Cal State Berkeley students?
Originally, no, that's what they were trying to do. Originally, Cal, uh, what People's Park was an empty lot. It was just dirt, grass. Um, Basically, people called it the eyesore of Berkeley. You
It's
had,
still
oh, now it is for sure,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Those are $1 million homes people don't want to be
No,
linked with.
and
Go
it's
ahead.
crazy. And it's crazy because, like I said, the community came together to build this place, and they were tired of seeing it back in the late to early 70s, late 60s,
Yeah.
early 70s. So on a Sunday afternoon, about hundreds of people gathered, and they all laid down sod. They all came together, put in money for it, and they laid sod. I know you know what sod is, but sod, for
Yeah.
those who don't know, is that rolled up dirt and grass, and you
Hmm.
roll it out like a carpet. Boom, there you go. You have your nice little field to lay in and
Hmm.
smoke pot,
Drink wine, pop pills,
pot pills, whatever. What trip on
huff,
acid.
huff paint, trip acid, LSD. Yeah, they still do it all.
So what they did was uh, they put together a flyer, so to speak, kind of like now what people would do on Facebook and send an invite. This is the original invite, and they posted up flyers
Hmm.
everywhere and said, we want to build People's Park. Come join us, 420, April 20th at 10 a.m. Hundreds of people showed up, and like I said before, it was an eyesore because there were abandoned cars, there were burnt up cars, there was trash everywhere, not far from what it is now, and so that's what they did. Everyone got together, laid down sod. It was at this time when Stu Albert, an activist from New York, who was living in Berkeley, put up a flyer, like I said, and this is what it read: "The land is now used as free parking space. In a year, the university will build a cement-type expensive parking lot, which will fiercely compete with the for other lots for." I can never even spell when I do this stuff. Allegiance? Yeah, there we go. Allegiance.
Ah,
Ah,
okay.
it of Berkeley's Buicks. On Sunday, we will stop this shit. This is in the flyer. On Sunday, we will stop this shit. We want the park to be a cultural, political, freak out, and rap center of the Western world. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's
It's
pretty cool. I've personally never even heard of anything like that.
not nowadays. Everything has to be worded correctly.
Yeah,
And
and
yeah.
I didn't know when he actually put in there rap center, because it's spelled RAP, but he wasn't meaning rap like hip hop. It's
Rapping meant talking.
right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that.
No, rapping meant rapping with each other, rapping with my brothers. It's meant talking.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's hella
communicating.
crazy.
It's a communicative park. That's all that was for community gathering. And it's still there. It's not been mowed down. It's not a parking lot. It is a
It's
bit
not
of
a
an
park.
eyesore,
It
but
is that well, and that's the thing is that it changed. It started from one thing, like
mhm.
anything really, if you really think about it. One thing, even with the shit. I mean, I don't know how far I because I don't have the knowledge of it, but even like the Hells Angels, I'm sure they started off as veteran motorcycle riders, and then they turned into an MC to what
Yeah,
people think of MC now.
yeah. Well, they definitely have the biggest influence on anything on the West Coast. But I mean, from what I understood, motorcycle riders mainly came out of the
Vietnam War.
Vietnam War. Yeah, and then they started gathering, and that's when the Harley was really big. Came out actually World War One, two, and yeah, they started gathering out in Salinas Valley.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
out
I
there,
didn't know that.
Salinas, Watsonville, Selma. They made that movie Devil Without a Cause, not Devil Without a Cause. Anyway, in Central California is where it all started, and then it came out this way.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a trip. I didn't know that either.
old farmland, just dirt old. That's basically what it was. A bunch of farm boys. And then
Jeez.
everybody gathered, and everybody got their own club going, and then now it is what it's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as West Coast goes, yeah, Hell's Angels, pretty much established um, the West Coast, and then their influence from everybody through who they are in general, free standing alone Hell's Angels and all their history, and then the Altamont. Look into that
Hmm.
when they were bodyguards for the Rolling Stones, all the way to you know,
What they are now.
yeah, what they are now. And
Yeah, there's a lot of history behind that too, huh?
mhm, yeah, Bay
I
Area
think
has a lot of history.
I think that should be another topic.
Yeah, yeah,
So now, just 5 days shy of a month, and as I said, the construction began on 4/20. So this was now May 15th.
mhm,
This is when it was completely done, and what it had was play structures with swings, gardens, winding brick paths, kind of like the Wizard of Oz,
mhm.
co-
Yellow Brick Road.
cobblestone. Yeah, the place was amazing and perfect for the community, as I mentioned before, to enjoy and come together and be hippies. Peace and love, brother.
Free spirited people.
But all of that changed that very same day, which is why on May 15th, 1969, they refer to that day as Bloody Thursday. After
Okay.
after students and locals and activists came together to create the People's Park, a long day battle began between law enforcement and the activists. After being fed up with the anarchy, Berkeley PD attempted to step in and shut the party down. Now this is
Stupid.
yeah. I mean, there were hundreds of people, and I'm gonna put in pictures, for Instagram
Yeah,
and for
yeah,
YouTube too. But I
yeah,
mean, hundreds of people.
yeah.
You don't see hundreds of people like this just at a place now. Well,
Now you
other
do.
now you do, yeah.
Right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually one thing that I kind of want to, what's it called, caveat into is from then till now.
Okay.
But people were fed up with Berkeley trying to come in and shut the party down. The anarchy was people dancing, gathering, singing, smoking weed.
Mhm.
They didn't want that. And this is back in the 70s when, you know, you're smoking the devil's lettuce. What's wrong with you?
But that
So,
weed was not potent
from what I
back
hear,
then.
no.
No, it was dirt. It was called what's called now stress weed. It wasn't even a nice looking flower. I mean, the flower, yeah, but as far as the end product, the smokable product, it wasn't. It wasn't. oh, I hate to use the word attractive, but I like the way marijuana plants grow and they bloom and they're appealing.
Mm.
That old shit was another, it was dirt weed. But anyway, go ahead.
Nah, it's just it's
Doesn't
crazy
even sound good.
how yeah, and uh like you said, the potency of it.
Not at all.
Just the smell of stuff nowadays is brutal.
Yeah, it makes me gag. It literally makes me throw up.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, I like growing. I like growing vegetation, and that's part of what I like growing. But just to smell it once it starts to produce, and if it's a potent strain, nah, it'll make me gag all the time.
Jesus.
That's why when we had that one crop one year, I couldn't cut it. Joaquin had to do it.
Can't do it?
Mm. And he loved that shit. But I can't
Nah.
do that.
Yeah,
But go ahead, People's
I'm good.
Park.
I'm good. So that morning, a fence was placed, and Governor, get this, at the time, Governor, which I didn't know this by the way, Governor Ronald Reagan pressured the university admin to stop being in cahoots with the activists and shut it down.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know he was our governor.
I totally did not know that. That
Here goes another little history to add to that, and I'm going to send you a picture. But go
okay.
ahead.
Okay. Um yeah, he was an actor too, right?
That's what he started at as an actor, and he was a Republican. He wasn't a Democrat.
That sounds like someone we know today.
Yeah, he was just like Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger basically followed in his steps. There was three. Now, a lot of people don't realize that California has a pretty big Republican party. Northern California, not so much Southern, but yeah. And my she was my grandmother by marriage, which would have been your great grandmother. Her name was Lily. She used to work for uh, Governor
Really?
Reagan. I'll send a picture to you. I'll get it from my aunt, one of your great aunts. But yeah, she worked for him for years.
Wait, I think I know who you're
The
talking.
Japanese
Yeah,
lady.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she worked for Governor Reagan for years.
Whoa, I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
That's
And matter
interesting.
here's another side note. She just had a birthday too. She would have been 70. Your papa's age.
77?
Something like that. Yeah, 77, 78. I'm gonna
Oh,
once we get off, I'll text
I know. Yeah,
my aunt Sachi to send me some pictures. But go ahead. That way you can
okay.
add it to
That's
this
cool.
story. Go ahead.
So, over 150 California Highway Patrol, the CHP, and Berkeley PD were sent to remove the hippies. This is in the quote.
Mhm.
To remove the hippies. A scheduled rally down the road from People's Park had already came in was already in effect with over 3,000 people there for an Arab Israeli conflict before they joined forces of the People's Park protesters who were 1,500 strong. So now you got 4,500 people.
Israelis? Really?
Israelis and yeah, it's an Arab Israeli conflict. So whatever was happening between the two, they were already protesting
Yeah. I
whatever was going on then.
I didn't even, you know what? I don't even think I realized what um an Arabic or anybody from Saudi Arabia till I was probably 11 or 12. As a matter of fact, one of my buddies from Alameda, his dad was full-blooded Iranian.
Really?
Yeah, Iranian, Saudi Arabian, Saudi Arabian.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, yeah. That was the
Whoa.
first time I ever saw Shimon.
Yeah.
Things they put over. Yeah, first time I ever saw him and his buddy. Uh, they worked at a store. The store's still there in Alameda, but yeah, the first time I ever seen an Arab, I was like, what the hell? You know, always black, Chinese, Asian, Oakland, Mexican, black, white, Cambodian. When I seen an Arab, I was like, wow, all right. But anyway, go ahead.
It's interesting. Not just because that's the same thing with me when we moved to Arizona. I didn't see my first Middle Eastern person until
Mhm.
my seventh grade, eighth grade. It was only two students. They were brother and sister. And
Really?
the young one, if I'm not mistaken, the young one had the head cap with the little ball that's where the hair was, and
Oh,
she would wear the hijab.
they were they were Sikh.
They were Sikh, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but I never seen them. So I never seen
Yeah.
a Middle Eastern person until 10 and 11 years old.
Yeah. I believe it.
So
That's our
45.
negligence. That's unfortunate for us. But if you go look at the history books and look at Arabia or Iran or all the Middle Eastern countries, they look like Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
Trees, flowers,
a lot of the
water.
places are actually very nice,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
So with 4,500 people marching down Telegraph Ave, chants began to echo down the street like bombs in the distance. People were yelling out, "Let's take the park! Let's take the park! That's our park. We are People's Park." Crazy. Again, this is
yeah.
crazy stuff. Now, again, all the officers combined with Berkeley and CHP was only 150, and they were met with angry locals and sad hippies.
Yeah, I
You
believe it.
it I can only imagine what they were going through because and like we said on one of the other episodes on the North Hollywood shootout, they weren't armed with anything that they got now, minus the gun. Take that
Oh, as
take
far as
take that out.
firearms,
No,
no.
just equipment in general. The batons they had were damn near wooden sticks.
Yeah,
They didn't have tasers. I
mm.
doubt they had pepper spray until maybe the mid '80s or early '90s.
They had things called slapjacks.
Yeah, they had metal in them.
The leather,
The
yeah, the
the
leather
leather,
with the metal ball. Yeah.
yeah, and that was doing damage. You can
Well,
hurt someone
yeah.
with those.
Hell yeah.
That's a steel ball.
Mm.
So again, 150 officers were met with 4,500 people. Bottles were being thrown at the officers. A fire hydrant was even opened up and aimed towards the officers, and at least one car was set on fire. Shortly after this invasion of the OG plant-based dieters, the Alameda County Sheriff, the Alameda County Sheriff office was then sent in, and they had about 800 officers and deputy sheriffs to quickly assist with CHP and Berkeley PD. So again, that's only 950.
Yeah, it's not a big patrol.
They're still shy. This quickly turned south as a street battle followed almost upon the sheriff's arrival. Now, what they did have, as far as equipment and weapons, they did have tear gas. They did have
Mhm.
shotguns loaded with buckshot, by the way,
Mhm.
not with birdshot. And
Or yeah, all
like,
that other safety stuff didn't come till later.
yeah, they didn't have bean bags or
No,
none of that.
no.
So buckshots were probably still balls, about
Yeah,
maybe a little bit smaller.
I think we
But
got 9 of them in a shell.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
9 pellets in a shell.
the buckshot is meant for taking down deers. They'll blow a hole into someone or something.
Close
Bird,
enough. Yeah.
birdshot is a little more. That's kind of like the Dave Chappelle joke. I don't know if you ever heard it yet.
What?
But when he went and bought a shotgun, he was like, "Well, I need some ammo," and the guy put two boxes on. He said one had a duck on it. He's like, "Well, that's birdshot." And he goes, "Well, what does that do?" He's like, "That won't kill a man. They'll just pepper him up real nice." And he's like, "Pepper him up? What the hell?" But that's what some people think that shotguns
Yeah.
are loaded with. It's not just that.
Uh-uh.
They got birdshot, buckshot,
Slug.
slugs, the bean bags.
Yeah.
Crazy. Now, the sheriff of Alameda at the time, after the event started, he said that many of the officers were freshly home from the Vietnam War, and they treated the students like Viet Cong. That's fucked up.
PTSD, dude. What do you expect?
That is fucked up. When
They
I
did,
read that, I was like, "Holy shit!"
yeah. What do you expect? I mean, these people are coming back They didn't have an M16 in their hand no more. They sure the hell
Yeah,
didn't have a 45.
yeah.
They didn't have any artillery. I'm sure they probably had
Napalm.
yeah, I'm sure they probably had flashbacks and were just, how did they deal with it? They didn't. They took it out. They fought the best way they could. And look what
And they,
happened.
yeah,
Now that you got a story.
yeah. Called Bloody Thursday of all
Yeah.
things. And this is when it was known as Bloody Thursday. Over 30 people were shot with buckshot. With protesters not backing down, Governor Reagan even issued a state of emergency for the city of Berkeley. Having done so, the National Guard was coming in now. Again, very similar to what we're going through now. National Guard's been called all on the East Coast. I don't think they've came over here yet.
They were as far as Arizona, I think. No, they were in Hollywood.
They were.
Yeah, they were in
Oh
Hollywood.
shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Prohibiting any participation in the meeting, assembly, or parade in or about Berkeley, including the campus. This is what Governor Reagan said. So he didn't want any of that going on. He just wanted to turn the empty lot or the shitty lot of Cal State Berkeley into a parking lot. That's all that he wanted to do. And people fought, and they said no. I stand with that for sure. To be honest.
A lot of people back then were not, I wouldn't say homeless, but they were outside.
A lot of people were.
Even now, it's just a homeless retreat. I don't want to
Now
say
it is.
retreat, but it's where the homeless go to gather to get some sort of
When was the last time?
sustainability.
When was the last time that you were there?
The day we went to that punk rock concert when the guy
That was the
tried
last time
rushing
you've
my
been to
mom.
People's Park?
Yeah,
Oh
last time,
man,
29 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's when Lise was going to school over there, and I went to go pick her up, drop her off and pick her up a few times. That's a rough place.
Yeah, no. Well, a lot of parts of Berkeley are pretty rough, but yeah, no,
As
it's
far as
been
homeless though,
29
because I
years.
mean it's tent city all over the place.
Sun everywhere in that part of California, that part of the Bay Area. It's tent city, from the hospital underneath the BART to the Coliseum. Hell, just one block east of us is RV city.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's an
Now,
epidemic.
it's a big epidemic, and I think we should be talking about that too.
Yeah. Well, at some point.
While most people who were at People's Park were protesters, some of them were just onlookers seeing how batshit crazy everything was, really. Then at about 2 p.m. that day, this is the reason why it was called Bloody Thursday. They're all fighting and stuff and protesting and whatnot. But specifically at 2 p.m., James Rector, 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 was actually a student at Cal State Berkeley. He wasn't protesting. He was just hanging out with some buddies on a rooftop, and he died from a gunshot wound of buckshot.
Did they mean to shoot at him, or just the spray got him?
I believe the spray got him. However, what initially got him was someone who was on that group, which I couldn't find exactly the number, but I'm guessing it was about 5 to 10 people on the roof.
Mhm.
They were throwing rocks at officers. So when one of them got hit or noticed that they were being attacked,
Yeah.
they whipped the shotgun around, looked up, and just fired. So 2 people actually got hit, but James was the one that died. Alan Blanchard who was also another student. This is fucked up. He was left permanently blind after being shot in the face with buckshot. Can you imagine getting a shot in the face with the gunshot with the shotgun?
I don't like getting shot in the face with a water gun. Fuck that. No, I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't.
That's
any kind of pellet, even a what do you guys
even a
play?
BB
What is
gun.
that?
Mom shot me with a damn BB gun. Airsoft.
Yeah,
Airsoft
but
hurts too.
what's the paintball?
Oh no, fuck that. I saw Juan play that one time. His ass looked like a damn cheetah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, that stuff hurts, man. Fuck. I don't care how much adrenaline you're on. Oh,
Airsoft is fun though. That one I can appreciate that one a little bit more.
shit still hurts.
It does hurt. Over 130 other protesters received damaging wounds like this in just one day. 25 people were arrested on misdemeanors, as I mentioned, for throwing rocks at officers, and felonies for having concealed weapons. Now, they didn't go into exactly what concealed weapons it were, but I can imagine a pistol. I can imagine knives or blades. I can even imagine what's it called? Like homemade like smoke
For
bombs.
for the
The protesters.
protesters.
Yeah.
Oh, bottles,
Molotov cocktails.
Molotov cocktails, like you said, sticks. I wouldn't put it past somebody putting a bow and arrow out there at some point. A bunch of rocks. You know, what's that one thing where you sling a rock? You
The
put it in
slingshot.
that. No. It's
That's the
it's
old school, like what is it, David and Goliath?
yeah. Is that a slingshot?
I think that's what initially it was called, was a slingshot, because they whip it around, they fling
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh, I thought it was called something else. But yeah, even those
I
slingshots hurt too.
I could be wrong. Oh yeah, hell yeah, slingshots hurt. Literally, blood, sweat, and tears were left on the streets after this battle. Little, a little after 5 days, just 1 month after the construction of People's Park, a vigil was held for James Rector. I kind of want to say rectum every time I see his name.
Oh,
Rector.
he did get wrecked. The cops did wreck him.
The Cox?
Somebody cocked him.
Now, when they held that vigil, there was about 2,000 to 3,000 people. There's no exact number, but this is what they guessed who attended his vigil. And again, this time this wasn't a protest for a park. It was, someone died. They wanted to pay their respects. And again, Berkeley PD, they were like, nah, not having it.
They tried breaking it up, and there was another
Did
riot.
they did?
Oh wow!
So
I never knew
they
that.
came in again, shotguns ready, batons, and I don't know who gave them this or who gave them the clearance, but there's literal photos of this. They even used an army helicopter to drop tear gas similar to what they had in the Vietnam War.
Jesus.
So they're fucking people up left and right.
Yeah, making them sick. That tear gas is no joke.
Especially if it's like a military army grade. That's fucked up.
Yeah, mace. Is that what mace is? I guess it's a
Uh,
chemical. It's a chemical agent. I don't know.
yeah, it's a chemical. It from what I've seen, like that, like some of the training, when you're in the military or even police now, they put you in a small room. They have you wear a gas mask and you
Then you
breathe
take it
in
off.
2-3 times, and then they rip it off, and you have to take a huge inhale, run out. And I could be wrong, but from what my buddy said, in the Marines, you inhale really, really deep, you run out, and you have to recite one of their fucking like mottos. And if you don't do it, you have to do like push-ups or some shit while you have tear gas, while you've been tear gassed.
I'd be a push-up motherfucker because I wouldn't be able to say shit.
So this is the outcome of, Bloody Thursday. People's Park isn't, as we mentioned before, what it was intended to be. Yes, people do gather there, they do have fun, they hang out, and so on and so forth. But today, what you'll find, instead of hippies smoking pot, having fun, playing ball, is you'll find a lot of homeless, as we mentioned, and a lot of drug users. Now, there are some people who go over there to skateboard. It is technically a park. There are still playgrounds there, but you're not going to see any kids there. You're not.
No, it's for recreation, but it's not family friendly.
No.
And for what it was intended to be, it's basically stuck in its own time zone. It's never going to change unless they bulldoze it. And I'm
Right.
sure that'll be a freaking hell to pay if that ever happens.
Well, I'm
Although,
gonna
are
get
they thinking about it?
I'm gonna get to that in just a second.
Gee, I'm moving.
Tom Bates, he is the former mayor of Berkeley and actually one of the original builders of the park.
Mm,
He even said to the SF Chronicle, over time, people's park, excuse me, over time, people have come to realize that the park has not become what they had hoped it would be. It is not a place that a lot of people are comfortable going to anymore. That's one
it's
of the people
true.
who fought there, and he's like, "Yeah, you don't want to come over here."
It's probably ashamed of what it's turned out to be. Well, I'm sure he lost a lot of fucking money too. He didn't. His investment went to shit.
Many public officials throughout the years were actually very hesitant to even touch People's Park. They would they would be requested to get rid of the park, turn it into a parking lot, get rid of the park, turn it into what do they call it, the public garden. They
Mm,
would for totally different things, but everyone they're terrified to do so because they don't want to have another kind of riot on their hands.
yeah, it wasn't maintained back then either. I think anybody who lived in that area who actually manicured the yard, lawn, and all that. But as far as I know, I don't think it's maintained at all. I don't think Public Works goes over there, does it?
They do.
They got a bathroom
The
there.
grass is still cut. There's no bathroom there.
Yeah.
But the
Well,
grass is still cut, and it's not that far from Tenderloin in San Francisco where you'll see someone taking a shit.
you mean that far off? It is far. They're in different cities, but you mean as far as
As far as
what they
them
are?
as
Oh, what
far
it
as
is?
seeing a person squat
Taking a
next to a
shit.
tree and shitting.
Well, you can see that at a Raiders game, so that doesn't say much either.
That's also true. That's very true.
I've seen that a few times.
Now, uh, now, like I said, people were very hesitant to touch it, and the closest that they've come to actually changing People's Park was making it into an athletic center. Seeing as it's still owned by Cal Berkeley to this day, it's still owned by them, but they were met with pushback every time someone, like I said, tried to change it. Someone would fight back and say, "No, you're not touching this." Which I would think, why?
Well, they probably Cal Berkeley probably gets some sort of a credit for having that there. Like the lots that we have over here that are still empty. The family,
Lots. Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah. Where
all
Kavanaugh
them
was.
lots, yeah, all them lot. The family still gets some sort of a tax credit for having them empty. Yeah, that's why they haven't built. I don't know the specifics, but before they closed down Kavanaugh Liquors, I talked to one of the guys who knows uh, the Mervyn's family. That's who owns it.
Oh,
Yeah, the Mervyn's family, their house that they build is right up down the street from us. But
The clothing
yeah,
store.
the department store, Marvin
Ah,
Mervyn. Yeah, that's who owns all that.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, that's who owns all that.
Now, as of last year, 2019, the newest chancellor, Carol Baskin, and I'm not kidding, that is her name.
Jeez,
Carol,
Tiger
just
King.
Tiger King, that crazy woman. I wish this was a joke. This is not a joke. This is literally her name. Carol, Carol, Baskin, Baskin. Carol Baskin.
And there's no
Honestly,
relation.
no, there's no relation whatsoever. But how funny would that have been if she was a chancellor in Berkeley and then moved to Florida and became this fucking crazy ass cat lady?
You don't know.
She
You
announced
don't
that
know.
she was ready for that pushback. She said a lot of chancellors felt that they couldn't touch it being the People's Park.
Mm.
But I think the time is just right. It's a combination of people's sense of urgency of the housing crisis and also, frankly, the urgency to the homelessness crisis. Here is something that I found really interesting. And again, another one of the people who helped fight or build and fight for the park back in the day. This is a local homeless man. Fox News, when not Fox, the local Fox Channel 2, went out there and they were doing their own little story, and this guy happened to wander up on them, and they asked him some questions. They asked if he would stay at People's Park, and this is what he said. If the community had kept it, if the community had kept the will to keep the park, it had. Wow, I don't know why I cannot talk. If the community had kept the will to keep the park it had begun, I'd be solidly behind it. But I don't see that community anymore. The people using the park are trashing it. It's become if it becomes student housing, oh well, things change.
I and who is this guy? Just some guy who lives in the neighborhood?
He's a local homeless man, but he's one of the original builders.
Yeah, see, it's just an eyesore, but it has some. It's still there for some reason. Uh,
Yeah,
it's not a national monument.
not anymore.
It's
Yeah,
not a it's not a historical landmark. It's just property that they could get away, just
I,
do away with and build something
do you think that they should?
for student housing. If before all this distance learning and COVID-19 shut in, I would say absolutely, why not? Cal Berkeley is one of the, you know, one of the most sought out universities in the nation, if not the world. But now, I don't think there's going to be any reason for additional housing for people coming to school there or going to school there. They should just take care of the people that are already there. What they need to figure out, I don't know. I'll leave it to them. I have no idea.
So how crazy is it though that people rioted now, back then to the riots now? You know what I mean? Like
Well,
they're both fighting for purposes, and I don't know too much on this much this times. I can't talk.
this
I don't
genre.
this generation,
Mhm.
other than the fact of what I saw on the news or what I've seen on Facebook, you know, they're still fighting for purposes, both times. It
Well,
seems like they got what they wanted on the first one. It seems like they're getting close to what they want on the one that's happening now.
they're definitely making a lot more. They're doing some. I think they're doing some groundbreaking toward what people should be um, wanting as far as changing laws, changing ways things, well, changing the way Black people are. You know, I don't want to say hassled, but they get it pretty rough,
Yeah,
very rough. But back to what you were talking earlier. I'm 50 years old. From 1970 to 2020, right now, I've heard and seen this Black Panther movement, earthquakes, 9/11, Rodney King, uh, the police officers who got acquitted in Rodney King beating, um,
OJ.
OJ, um, any other. I'm trying to think. Patty Heard, all these things that involve some sort of law enforcement. I guess what I'm trying to say is now I honestly feel things are going to start to change. How it's going to change? Maybe we'll start with a little bit more compassion. I don't know, but I know that people are making enough noise now to where government's listening, and I
Yeah,
honestly think the government's a little scared. But prior to them, people who lived through the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, I'm sure they had their own issues to deal with.
right.
Did anything come of it for anybody at my age when they were talking about it? I don't know. But I can tell you now, people protesting, not
Mhm.
rioting, people protesting is definitely making
A big
some
change,
some changes for sure.
and I agree with that 100%. People
Yeah.
protesting and doing what they're supposed to be doing correctly. Maybe not even correctly, just doing what they're doing doing what they're doing in a way that's being recognized. They're doing it correctly. I see that, and I stand behind that 100%. But what I personally don't stand behind is the whole looting thing.
Well, that's just
You know,
ignorance. That's ignorance. We're always going to have that. You're going to always have the good and the bad. That's
yeah,
part of being the bad. But I
because
think
because that's hurting everybody. There's they're the people who are looting, whether they say quote unquote they're coming out of state or out of town to do so, just
which
to
is
tear shit up,
sad, and it's
just to tear
true.
shit up,
Yeah,
and
and gain something,
yeah,
whether it's
they
some cash or some jewelry or
yeah,
some
or like
clothing or whatever.
in our situations, I'm home. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to get my prescriptions and whatnot through a hospital.
Mm,
My younger brother has to go through CVS. And
yep,
correct me if I'm wrong, the
a
CVS that's down
pharmacy.
the pharmacy, the street down the street from the house was
Was raided.
completely ransacked.
Yep,
So they're hurting everybody.
everything.
They're hurting the community as even though they're trying to help the community, by doing whatever it is that they're doing. But rioting, or I mean, excuse me, looting is not helping the situation.
But again, too, I mean, this is a bad way of putting it. But medication is opportunity. Jewelry is opportunity. Clothing, high-end clothing, footwear, jewelry, cars. That's all opportunity. That's to gain something. To monetize.
Hmm.
They're going to rip off insulin. It's $150 a vial.
Yeah,
Somebody knows an insulin that can use a vial, $25,
someone
$30.
someone knows the insulin that can use a vial.
Or somebody knows a diabetic who can probably use a vial. It's $30.
Yeah.
And now the opportunity is even much easier. You got OfferUp, Let Go, Craigslist,
Oh yeah, I
Instagram,
didn't even think
Facebook.
about that.
You have all these influences to get all this to make money. There's if there is a will, a criminal will find a way. And I hate to put it that way, but it's true.
It just sucks.
It does. I mean, like I said, especially for like your brother, CVS is within a 10-mile radius from where I live, had no insulin for a week because they were ripped off. That's just CVS, not Walgreens, not Walmart, not Target,
Not
not
Rite Aid.
Costco, not Rite Aid, just CVS. Yeah. But those places got hit all
That's
for a
nuts.
gain. All for a gain. What do you think happened to all that money, that $1 million that came out of Costco? All them diamonds and gold.
Oh yeah.
Well,
At
somebody's making it.
yeah.
Somebody's making some cash off it. Cost them
So
nothing, but $1 is 100% profit to that thief.
so what happened? So just for people who are either watching or listening, um, we have someone who works at a Costco, and she told us that they broke in one night, and she said they stole over a million.
$1 million of $1 million inventory from just their jewelry cases, not including what came out of the pharmacy. That
Oh,
was
they
just
they
one
hit the pharmacy
Costco.
there too.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
That was just one Costco. That and all the liquor. But the Costco down on Davis was demolished. Was up. It was from what I saw. It was just everything was everywhere. And then the Walmart across the street from it is when they caught fire.
Yeah, yeah.
That's still closed.
That's fucked up.
So
What's it?
it's just right. Protesters should, right, and they need to be heard. The looters,
I agree. They do need to be heard. That's the same thing with like Rodney King. Again, I wasn't around. As a matter of fact, I think I was 2 when that happened.
yeah, that was
That
a
happened in
whole.
92, 93.
You know what's unfortunate is the law enforcement now didn't learn anything from that.
Mm-hmm. And
Nothing.
that's what me and someone were talking about recently. And she even made a post on Facebook. Um, she's behind the protesting, and so am I. If you want to protest, by all means, but you can't
Absolutely.
blame. You can't. You know, I don't want to butcher what she said, but but the gist of it is you got to change the institutions, and like you just said right now, they didn't learn back 20 some odd years ago till now because they're still doing the same thing. That's the
People,
shitty part. Is they need to change that. And I even heard recently that they're trying to take away funds for the police,
mm,
which to
yeah.
me, sorry to say it, is the dumbest thing that someone could think of. Because in
Well,
order for
that
them to train, what do they need?
I put it this way. Okay, so our president, who we have, does not think too highly of law enforcement or the National Guard. Because if this guy is wanting to send in the military and we have a National Guard that should take care of the homeland, they're equipped and trained to take care of local issues. He doesn't think too highly of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little embarrassing to me. He doesn't think too highly about law enforcement. But then again, like I said, law enforcement gets their asses kicked verbally, physically, emotionally. They're people too, man. They're people.
Yeah,
They
it's a
got
tough
husbands,
job.
they
It's
got
not. It's not
wives,
an
they
easy
got family.
job.
No. So for them to lose
And
their
that's the other
temper,
thing too. It's a job.
mhm,
And I saw a video recently of a guy who's a National Guard. He was like he was telling people, he was a person of color. He was saying, "Listen, you think I want to be out here doing?" He's in his full gear. You think I want to be out here? No, I
it's a
signed my
job.
life away.
Yeah.
I signed my life to the military. I have to be here because I'm being told to be here.
Yeah. Well, go to jail.
He can get, I think it's called Article 15. That's federal prison. You can go to federal prison for not doing
Yeah,
your
it's
job.
stupid. Fort Bragg or what's that penitentiary? That military jail, Fort Bragg or something like that.
There's a few of them. I think
I
there's
don't
like
know.
two or
Yeah, but
three
no, it's right. He's on a contract. It's
until
not
that
just like a
contract is.
police officer, just like you. You're on a contract. You have to do. You have some sort of responsibility to make sure that there's some sort of safety and some sort of direction upheld every minute that you're on your shift.
Yeah,
Right there, you go. It's
yeah.
your job.
I have to do it. That's
I
what I
have to
get
do
paid
it.
for,
Yeah,
unfortunately. You know, to tell
military is
people
the same thing.
to
It's
tell
their
people
job.
no. It's rough.
Anyway, People's
Well,
Park. That was
People's
a good
Park,
story. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that like that. I didn't know that's what that.
and that was just one day. Apparently, there's
Only one guy died from that whole issue.
one guy died, one guy was blind, and a few others were actually hospitalized with bullet wounds,
Yeah,
uh, scrapes, so on and so forth. But yeah, only one person died and one person got a permanent injury from that. That's fucked up. A permanent. He's blind because he
yeah.
got shot in the face.
He's probably dead now.
Oh yeah, maybe now, but
He's probably gone.
uh, but yeah, that's People's Park of Berkeley, California.
Good story.
Thank you.